Boxing King Media, powered by BYD. Ben, Shalom, we're out here in the Peacock's gym. I was wondering why you guys selected this location. I only figured it out when I spoke to Azim. This is where they first met.
It is. I love this gym. I remember coming here when I just started. We did an Ultimate Boxer 2 media workout in the Peacock gym. Great place, great history. I was watching some videos of the Leonard Lewis press conference here at Nigel Brand. So good to be here, but obviously it's where they met and learned their trade here. Did they ever think they'd be fighting each other? 100% no. Especially in a must-win fight like this. It's crazy. I know Adam was literally a kid, 9-10 years old, walking in the gym when Ohara maybe had just turned over or whatever, and both know each other really well, but this is business and both of them have to win this fight.
Indeed, they do. Before I talk about the fight, obviously we've had a bit of a summer break. We did a bit of a Zoom the other day, but what does a promoter get up to in the summer holidays? What did you do?
Summer holidays? There aren't summer holidays.
It was like a bit of a break, wasn't it?
Martin Bacoli was for, Callum Simpson for in Barnsley. Listen, it just continues, to be honest. What do I do?
In a way, holiday or anything?
Not really. You know what? When we travel for work, that's where you usually get a bit of time. When we went to the States, when it took my missus, took a friend. You go and see the place. Go to San Fran. Went to New York for a meeting. So usually, I'm young enough to sort of combine the two and take people with me and enjoy it. And so life is a good life being a promoter, because you get to see all sorts of places.
It's because you don't really talk a lot about what you get up to kind of get your downtime. So I was just curious to know, what does Ben Shalom do to kind of switch off from boxing?
Football. As I say, very family orientated. But that's it. Boxing is 24/7. You're never off, really. Anything can happen with a fighter. And so, I think it's a young man's game. I've got a lot of time, when I see people with kids, I think for me, I know there's a lot of sacrifices. I don't even have kids yet. So when I see promoters with kids and families, I think, bloody hell, you're sacrificing everything. And you have to give props to that, because it's all encompassing. And I think for me, as a young guy, I think, it's perfect. This is a young man's job. You don't really have any responsibilities, things here, but you still have to sacrifice a lot. So, I do think if I was 20 years older, I don't know. We'll see, won't we?
Nice little insight there. And the first thing I want to say about this fight is because the narratives are out there that you guys avoided Dalton Smith. He went down a different direction because it was a risky fight to take now. And then obviously the Harlem Eubank fight, Harlem said his piece, you guys have said your piece. But on paper, it looks like you're taking as much a harder fight as say maybe Dalton Smith would have been, because of the risk.
Sure.
No, it's not my football, that, no. So the amount of risk involved in this fight, Ben Shalom just randomly picked up a football.
Go on. The risk, I think it is a harder fight. I think it's a bigger name. I think you've seen there's no animosity towards Harlem Eubank. We were just frustrated. We did sign for the fight for June 15th. Adam did get injured. We did try and get it on August the 31st as part of Wardley Clark. That didn't happen. We then, because of Adam's injury, said, you know what, we'll go to Brighton. October the 5th, there it was, put the venue. And then obviously he had a new management team and went in a different direction. He can do that. And I'm not going to say anything bad about him. I've never really spoken to him. And so I hear he's a good guy, and obviously I'm close with people that he knows, and his cousin obviously is one of the biggest star in our stable. So I'm not going to say anything bad. What it did do was leave us in a horrible position with Adam, where we needed a big fight. And so I'm really proud of myself and the team just to turning this round so quickly, because it is a massive fight, possibly a bigger fight. 2 guys from London at the Copper Box. Ohara's bringing the heat. And for Adam, this is what I always wanted was, you talk about development in the ring, but you've got to have development out of the ring. Different environments. Boxing's a cruel place. People talking shit. Might not be at him or me at Shane, but it's still controversy. And that's why I'm excited for this one for Adam. And he's becoming a man. Adam Azim is becoming a man. Look at how he talks now. Look at how he talks in comparison to the 19-year-old, 18-year-old kid that shuffled into my office. He's still only a baby.
I got him singing earlier. I'm not sure if you can actually call it singing, but he dropped some bars earlier.
Really? Well, he's shuffled. Listen, he's still young. He's still young. He's still 22 years old. But the maturity now he's showing, like, you got to just compare him to, he was the fastest guy ever to win the European title. He's already become a European champion. He's now fighting someone in his 30s who's been at world level. And is still at world, his last fight for the world interim title. Dalton Smith's in his late 20s, who he always gets compared to. This guy's a freak, a phenomenon. We should be behind him. He's got the weight of the world of his shoulders. The expectation that Adam Azim has and that carries at his age is phenomenal. And he's growing with it. And sometimes it's almost sink or swim time. And some people shy away. He's getting better and bigger shoulders. And I think we're going to see a great statement. And he was built for this, and he was made for this, and he's been dreaming about these nights since 6 years old.
Ohara said to you in the press conference that you guys have made a huge mistake, and he questioned as to who was advising you to make this fight. So I'm going to ask you, who advised you to take this fight, and what was the thinking behind it?
Listen, it wasn't a fight I was thinking about till 2 days before, because we were taking the Harlem Eubank fight. So this was a fight that we always had in mind. I heard that they were trying to make, at one point they were looking at it for Dalton Smith. I loved this fight for Adam Azim. One, because people talk about his chin, and has he been tested yet? Ohara can bang. Ohara's awkward. Ohara talks well, sells the fight, and we now get to see what I think will be a sellout copper box. Have I made a mistake? We'll see. But I believe Adam Azim will be one of the best fighters this country has ever produced. And so to take tests like that is what's going to earn him the respect. And October 19th, we get to see Adam Azim in a huge fight, and the interest is crazy. Like, I shit you not, the sign-ups and the things coming through to the website, the guys are telling me we're at the same level as where Wardley Clark was, and that was at the O2. I think people are starved of those big British domestic fights, and we get one. And look, I'm so glad that Ohara's saying I made a mistake, because we're going to get the very best Ohara Davies. He's a wounded animal. The reason he's so angry at all you media lot is because he experienced...
He wasn't angry at me.
Well, maybe not you. It's because he experienced how cruel this world is, and it's boxing. Boxing is like a microcosm of life, where in life, you think people give a shit. No one gives a shit about you.
I did show just to show
No,
you, right?
yeah,
He spoke to
you. No one gives a shit about anyone, right? Except for people really close to you. And he found that out when he got knocked out. Because no one was texting him, no one was calling him. Where was his people? And that's why he's angry. And that's what boxing's like. It's a cruel, cruel place. He's got a huge opportunity now, a huge lifeline. People saying someone's finished because of one punch. Like, that doesn't make sense. And so he's
He's never shown any signs of being finished, to be fair. He got cold, and like I said, it was quite a funny press conference, to be fair. Some of the stuff he come out with. I've got to ask you, I think I asked you the other week, but you wasn't sure. Can you confirm, is this a tall rounder, and is there any belts on the line? We
actually are going to announce that with our chief support. So we're hoping to announce the chief support today. It's going to be a huge fight. So I think in the next 48 hours, you're going to see something very special on this card. So I'm going to wait till then. What I would say is you will not be disappointed at the Copper Box on October the 19th. It's going to be very, very special. Some huge London fights going on to it. The main event is only the start. And Michael McKinson returning in his IBO World title, which was a great fight, a really tough fight. But anyone that knows boxing will know Mbenge, and he's a serious fight. And then obviously the heavyweight fight that's already been announced, but more to come, more details to come. And I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to ask about three of your fighters who we've not heard from for a while, if there's any update on them. Chris Congo?
I believe we'll see him returning very soon, yeah.
Florian Marku?
Has had an injury back, I think, end of November. I like the Joe Laws fight. I think it's really fun. I want him to return after having to had hand surgery. After what was a disappointing defeat for him, where he was fighting with a injured hand. Really, no disrespect to Chris Congo, who fought brilliantly. So looking forward to him returning from injury very soon.
Tasha Jonas?
We're hoping that we're going to she's going to be headlining at the end of November. But she has been waiting for this fight, and we think, look, we'll have to speak to her. She's got to be happy with the date, but that's the date that we've been given by the powers that be.
I was going to ask you, did you watch the video of, because this kind of shows how people can on camera fall out, but when they meet together, like it's like nothing's happened, because obviously lots been made of you, you know, working alongside Eddie, Franco, alongside the Riyadh season now. You'll have seen Eddie and Leonard Elby the other day. Were you surprised by how friendly that was?
Not really, because it's all a game, and even the whole YouTube world, it's all, I don't want to say fake, but drama, really, like, and not to be too deep about it, but we're all human beings, some better than others. But when it gets down to it, you know, it's not that deep, is it? It's boxing. People are working in much more serious jobs than us. We're working in the entertainment world, and I wasn't surprised, but obviously, I think people as well, you go up and down in relationships. Like 1 minute in boxing, you hate someone and you're not working with them, and you'll be working with them a week later because it makes sense. That's what boxing's like.
You've got yourself in a decent position now with the Riyadh season. Any update on CBS fight with on that Latino fight night, and any other potential fights that you're making with Riyadh season?
Well, that was a huge one. So thank you to His Excellency for announcing that. Something we've been working on with Golden Boy, and the story continues, doesn't it? It's been a magical story, and I think he's going to win that fight, by the way, and he'll be a slight underdog again, and he'll win that fight. But the next few weeks, if you think about it, with Tyler Denny and Josh Buatsi next week, Ben Whittaker, Eubank Jr., Massey going to his massive fight, Fraser Clark going into his big fight, Adam Azim going into his big fight, Chris Miller-Smith going into his monstrous fight. It's a big few weeks for us. So some massive results are going to come out of it, and I'm just really excited for boxing at the moment.
You looking to sign any more fighters?
2 or 3 really I like.
Any announcements soon?
Definitely in the next. Look, I don't want to put a time frame on it, but there's 2 or 3 we really like. I think what's happening is there's a graduation from the Tokyo Olympics. Everyone made a lot. Lauren Price's headline, Caroline Braddobar's headline, developing fantastically. Ben Whittaker is potentially the biggest star in British boxing after AJ and Fury coming through. Fraser Clark, look what he's done in 10 fights in terms of the stature and the profile and the fight that he gave us and now the fight he's going into. So those guys are going to start headlining regularly, and that was all what we always wanted, and now it's time for the new generation. We've only had one cycle, we're still not through that first cycle. That's our first cycle of fighters, really. So it's really exciting for us to now be at that stage where we can take the big fights, and that means there's a few new people that we can bring through, but we will be selective and obviously you make learnings as a promoter, don't you? What you like, what you don't like, what went wrong, what signings didn't quite work, what signings did work. So I'm excited, and there's some really good talent coming through at the moment.
Last question, hypothetically speaking, if Adam Azim beats Ohara Davies, there's a big Riyadh show in February next year, I think they've announced. Would you potentially propose him and Dalton Smith getting it out in Riyadh? Or is it still too early?
It's not that it's too early, and I will have to be honest with it. It's whether it makes sense for Adam, in terms of his profile's already big. It's going to be through the roof after this. If His Excellency wants to make a fight that big, then of course we'll be open to it. But ultimately, I'm in the Adam Azim business. I believe he's the best in the division. I believe he's going to prove that over a long career. I believe people need to remember he's 22 years old. Not late 20s, not 30s, 22. What were you doing at 22? He's headlining on Sky Sports in big fights against world-level opponents. That Dalton Smith fight for me is a pay-per-view fight down the line. And people might say, oh, why not just have it now? But it has to make sense for us and Adam. And I say that as a collective. This is about the fighter, and Fraser Clark, in the end, took Fabio Wardley at the right time, still slightly early. And we saw what that did for him and his career. And look, we can't look past October 19th. Ohara Davies is a fucking good opponent. And I think there's a lot of people rubbing their hands at home thinking Shalom's made a massive error here. And that's what makes it so exciting, and so I'm really looking forward to October the 19th.
I was going to ask you one other thing, but I'm going to bring Adam. Adam, can I borrow you a second? I'm going to put you on the spot here. I'm just curious to know if you can just kneel down. What's your relationship like? Because there's not a massive age gap between you and Ben, so I'm just curious.
Big age gap.
Well, not massive.
No, not massive. Not massive.
What do you mean? It's more like between me and.
He looks younger than me. Yeah.
You know what I was just saying? I remember when you came in with Hassan and Adam was shuffling in the office, like didn't want to look in your eyes and didn't want to do anything. Like, so boxing is about growing in the ring and outside of the ring.
Yeah.
And he's still only 22. And I was saying that when I was 22, I was in student accommodation. God knows what I was doing.
What was you doing?
What was I doing? I don't even know. I should. Yeah, exactly. I can't remember it. That's how hazy that was. So, you know, it's incredible to see, and people that forget the weight that this man has on his shoulders at 22 years old, to be headlining on Sky Sports, to be taking world level opponents, to have already been European champion, that most people will never achieve in their whole career, is incredible. And to see him growing as a man and being able to defend his trainer like that, and being able to go on TalkSport in the week and talk about the Harlem Eubank situation. As I say, I asked the viewers, what were you doing at 22 years old? Because this is a special talent, you know.
It's the last question to you, Adam. Are you gutted that you missed out on university life, or are you happy doing what you're doing?
I'm happy what I'm doing. Like if I was university life, I don't know what I'd be doing.
You can do that when you retire.
Yeah, I probably can get a degree when I retire.
The university will probably just give you a degree.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Well, on that note, Ben, appreciate your time and all the best with the show. Thank you.
Man. Cheers. Thank you.